then. Welcome everyone to the Committee on Public Services. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Here.
Commissioner Palomera, Commissioner Kinlock,
Present.
Commissioner Haydes,
Present.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Here.
Commissioner Dobb,
I'm
Has
here.
requested an excuse.
No, I'm actually here. I know I had requested an excuse, but I was able to make it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Chair Marecki,
Here.
Commissioner Palomera.
Here. Oh, that's right.
We do
Listen
have,
on.
but I don't see Commissioner Palomera on.
Okay, I will
I'll
text
text
him.
him.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, next item.
We're moving to item B, Chairwoman's remarks.
Okay, the only remarks I have is at the end of the meeting, I think you all received an email that we're going to, Chair Watts could not make it, but we're going to have Steve Shea and Bill Bantam on to talk about the pothole program that I believe is going to start tomorrow. So they will give us an insight into that. Next item.
We're moving to item C, approval of the February 8th, 2022 meeting minutes.
Okay, move approval.
So move for approval.
Okay, we have an approval by Varga, I believe, and supported by Commissioner Haddis. Any questions on the minutes, comments, changes? All those in favor of approving the minutes from last meeting, say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays, any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Next item.
We're moving past item D, unfinished business, to item E, new business. Item E1, communication, requesting commission approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the Charter County of Wayne and the City of Taylor.
Okay, this is for road improvements along Ecorse Road from Party Road to Monroe Boulevard, if I said that, the name of that street.
Approval.
Okay,
Madam Chair. Madam Chair,
We need support before
I
the
think
discussion.
she might have froze. I just wanted to know if she wanted to take all items and then do a recommendation.
yes, go ahead.
Oh,
Yes, thank you. Yes, I would
Okay.
like to take, yeah, thank you. I
okay.
would like to take all these items and then move direction at the end of this agenda, if that's okay, Commissioner Haddis.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Dobb. Okay, any questions on this item?
You need the support first.
No, we're gonna talk about each item and then do some direction at the very end of the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you.
Okay.
So is there any questions on this? It's pretty straightforward. Okay. Madam Clerk, let's go to item number 2.
Item E2, communication requesting commission approval of a 3-year purchase order, terms and conditions contract with 2 one-year options to renew between the Charter County of Wayne and Waterfront Petroleum Terminal Company of Detroit.
Okay, this is for our petroleum products as an needed basis throughout the county. I want to thank our staff and the administration for working this out. I know there's concern, especially what's going on in the last couple of days about gas prices going up and lines being closed before this. So I'm sure this is going to be, if the administration has to come back to us at some point, they will. But any questions on this at this point? It's an $8 million contract. Okay. Okay, this is 98% is Act 51 money. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's go to the third one.
Item E3, communication requesting commission approval of a 3-year cooperative agreement between the Charter County of Wayne and Samsara, Inc.
Okay, this is a Sourcewell contract, which is a good thing for us. Any questions on this one? This is for GPS tracking services. trucks. All right.
Madam
Oh, go
Chair?
ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Dodd. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I just thought of a question at the last minute and,
Okay.
and I apologize. I didn't think I was gonna make it to this meeting, today and I just got home. So is this for the GPS tracking on the remaining, like the snowplow and the, salt trucks in our fleet? I know last year we had put the GPS on, I think, a good portion of it, but I don't think we had them all on there. Is this for the remaining trucks?
Yeah, you know what? I think we had 50 more trucks. Is there someone from the administration here that can answer Commissioner Dobbs'
Good morning,
question?
Madam. Good morning, Madam Chair. This is Derek
Good morning.
Coley,
Morning.
DPS Equipment Division Director. Just to distinguish the two, the dump truck fleet has GPS tracking. 50 of them also have cameras. We are currently in a 3-year expansion of the camera installations in the dump truck fleet. So to distinguish between the two, the dump trucks, basically all 150 of them will have cameras installed within 2 years. But this is separate. This is for light duty trucks, sedans, pickup trucks, and service vehicles. The purpose for this contract is to allow our department managers and foremen to actually watch where their people are so that they can dispatch them more effectively, more quickly. They can also control misconduct. It is only GPS visibility, but on those types of vehicles, that is what's important. They don't necessarily need cameras. That is what this contract is for. It is not for the dump trucks. The dump trucks are a different project.
Okay. And then, one unrelated question. Are we ever gonna get to name our snow plows so that people see the fun names on the Wayne County Compass? I don't know if you can answer that, but like MDOT named theirs.
Yes, through the chair, I am unaware of that. That would be a question for our roads division.
Okay. Well, I advocate for that. All right, thank you, Derek. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Well, we're going to be talking to the roads division at the end of the meeting, so maybe you could ask them that. So Derek, do any of our trucks have this GPS mechanism now that can be tracked by their superiors, or is this a new?
This is definitely a new device.
Okay.
It is portable. So let's say if we have a vehicle that needs to be taken out of service because of age or accident or something, they are basically plug and play under the dashboard and behind the dashboard. We do have capability of monitoring tampering. So it is the type of device that our managers need to not only monitor their vehicles when they're in the field, but to also effectively dispatch and hopefully be more efficient in dispatching toward emergencies and job sites.
So will this contract cover all the trucks that you want to put this in at this point?
Yes, it's going to be across our DPS fleet, our parks division as well. So yes, it does have the scope to go into those light duty vehicles, and enough of them so that the managers can effectively manage what they have on the road.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions from commissioners? All right, thanks, Derek. Next item, Madam Clerk.
We're moving to item 4, communication requesting commission approval of a 2-year contract with a 1-year option to renew between the Charter County of Wayne and Action Traffic Maintenance.
Okay, this is for guardrail beams and parts and accessories as needed. Questions on this? Oh, let me make sure. I keep forgetting about the hands here. Nobody? All right. Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
We're moving to item E5, communication requesting commission approval of retroactive modification number 3 to a single response concession agreement with 2 one-year options to renew between the Charter County of Wayne and Kosh Hospitality.
Okay, is someone on here for this and why is it retroactive?
Alicia Bradford, DPS Parks Division Director. Good morning, Madam Chair, to the Commission Committee. This particular agreement is retroactive. There was some considerable delay in them being able to secure their FEP certification for the agreement of the modification of the next term. So there was some delay within their staffing and being able to submit and get that process in on time. We worked diligently to try to have it in prior to the expiration date. However, we were unable to do so. So we are requesting approval for this modification of retroactive, so Kosh Cater can continue the operation and management of the Chateau facility and the tourist lodge for this season. And then after that, we most likely will be doing an RFP in order to solicit other vendors, and Kosh is open to do so as well.
Okay, questions from the commissioners?
Madam Chair, no question, but Director Bradford, could you give me a call?
I surely can, Commissioner Kinlock. Thank you.
I have a question, Alicia, and I don't have it on my other computer here. I meant to do that. But usually we receive about $15,000 to $20,000. It looks like a 12% that goes to the county from this company, from their from the proceeds of their concessions. But in the year 2000, I think it's 17, it said we had $41,000 from them. Do you know, is that a typo or did that really happen?
No, that's correct, Madam Chair. So that is correct. That was based on the amount of rentals they had.
Okay.
And then there was other additional payment for capital investment that was required as well. So no, that is accurate information on the amount of revenue that was received.
Okay, so there was some capital investment in that. Okay, I thought that was quite a year. Any questions? All right, thank you. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, next item.
Item E6, communication requesting commission approval of an amendment number 1 to a contract with a 1-year option to renew between the Charter County of Wayne and Alfred Benesch and Company.
Okay, this is to amend the scope of services for the design services to reconstruct the Southfield Road Bridge over Ecorse Creek. Sorry. Any questions on this?
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
I will make a recommendation to move items 1 through 6 to the full board for consideration.
Okay, thank you.
I'll support Commissioner
All
Dodd.
right, Commissioner Dobb. So we have an approval by Commissioner Baydoun, supported by Commissioner Dobb, to recommend to move this to full board with an approval. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll on this?
Yeah, sorry, give me 1 second.
No problem.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
my apologies.
No problem. It's all right. We're on Zoom, so anything happens.
Commissioner Kinlock,
Yes.
Commissioner Hadis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes,
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Chair Marecki,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Next item.
Gagny, do you have the addenda?
Yes. We are moving to item E7 on the agenda, communication from Daryl Jones, Director, Capital Development and Buildings Administration, Division Department of Economic Development, forwarding notification of an emergency procurement report.
Okay, is this is Derek, right? Derek. No, this is Daryl Jones. Daryl, are you on? Or can somebody speak to this? Why it's an emergency procurement? I see it's for the medical examiner's office again, which I get. Anyone?
Hi, Madam Chair. Andrew Kandrivas here from Wayne County Executive Office. I'm trying to contact Daryl and see if there's.
Okay, and this is a
problem with him
receive and
getting on.
file.
So
I'm sorry?
I was just trying to see if there's a problem with him getting on or what the case may be. So,
And these are the next two are the emergency procurements. Both at the medical examiner's office, which we know has been having issues with flooding and boilers and I'll just keep going here, Andy. Does anybody have questions on this? These kind of things have been in front of us before with this. Okay, nobody's got questions, Andy, and these are receiving files.
if he pops up, then I'm still waiting for a
Yeah.
response from him. So.
Gagny, is this the only two on this?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Would you like
Direction,
to-
commissioners?
motion?
Go
I'll
ahead,
move
Commissioner.
for,
Receiving file?
sorry. Do we need to move these for a recommendation to full board? Items
Yes.
7 and 8.
Yes,
Support.
okay. Support. I don't know if it's the rain. I feel like I'm in a fog. Okay, so we have a recommendation to move these two to full board. These are receiving files and we have approval and a support. Since they're receiving files, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any objections, any abstentions? Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
We are returning to the agenda to item F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Okay, so we have Bill and Steve on today to let us know about the pothole program that's going to start. I saw Steve was on here.
Oh,
Are you both-
Madam Chair?
Hi, Mika. Are you
Hi,
on
good
here
morning.
too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, if it's okay, I can
Yes.
kick things off and then of course turn it over to Steve and Bill to
Yes.
add as well. So good morning, everyone. Elmika Steele, Deputy Director, Wayne County Department of Public Services, on behalf of Director Watts, who sends her regards. She was unable to make today's meeting, but certainly, well-informed and wanted to make sure that we provided this update to everyone. So we'll just touch very briefly on, what we're doing to tackle these potholes. One thing we definitely wanted to emphasize for everyone is that, during the winter season, our roads division staff are focusing on snow removal and pothole repair. So this isn't, something where, oh no, we weren't going to do anything at all with potholes. This is something that is always in process every winter season. So we just wanted to make sure that people knew that. But we are sensitive to the fact that, with the extreme weather changes we've been having, today it's fairly warm. It was fairly warm yesterday. The temperature is going to drop again. When you have these freeze-thaw cycles, it really, really does have a very harsh impact on the roadways. And that's how you have the emergence of so many potholes. So we have our existing staff. And when I say existing staff, I mean, we're taking even, not only staff that would traditionally be working to fill or repair potholes. We have staff from other units in roads division, some available staff in parks division. So it's sort of an all hands on deck effort. They're working very, very hard. We're talking 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. So we are very grateful and very thankful for our staff for putting in the hard work to make sure that they're doing everything that they can. So in addition to what our existing staff is doing, we also have some contractors who will be starting this week to help support our staff and augment what they're currently doing with those 10-hour days, 6 days a week. So we have 2 contractors that will be starting tomorrow and 1 that will be starting on Friday. And again, they're going to be adding to, not replacing our staff, but just adding to provide some additional support during this time. I'm going to let probably, Steve or Bill, I'm not sure which one of you wants to maybe just talk a little bit, a few specifics on exactly how the scheduling will be for our current staff and our contractor teams in terms of addressing the potholes. And then, of course, we're happy to answer any questions that anyone has. I know, very important, we want to make sure everyone calls the call center. If they see it, let us know where it is. I mean, obviously, our staff is driving around and identifying hot spots, but as much as possible, commissioners, if you can encourage your constituents to call the call center, that's a big help to us, and we can make sure that individuals are assigned and get out to try to address those issues as quickly as possible. So with that, Steve or Bill, I don't know which one of you wants to start off just talking a little bit more about kind of how the schedule will look like with the plan that's in place.
Thank you, Amika.
I'll chime in. Bill Banham, contract consultant, DPS Roads. Madam Chair, between the 3 contractors that we're bringing on board, they're going to have the potential to put 10 more crews out on the road daily, working in conjunction with the crews that we already have. The 2 contractors that are coming on board tomorrow, one of them is going to be working in District 2. That's taking, the Plymouth, Northville, Canton. The second one is going to be working in District 3, Westland, Livonia, all of those areas around the airport. The areas that we have identified now that have the worst road conditions are creating the most impact for traffic. So that's where they're going to be working. They're also going to be working 10 hours, 6 days a week with us. We've also reached out to our vendor for our asphalt to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to expand that contract, to make sure that we don't run out of material. So we're looking at this from a broad perspective to make sure that we're maximizing the resources that we have available to put our best foot forward during these difficult times. The other thing is this: we know, as Almika mentioned, based on the weather fluctuations, it's not going to get any better any sooner. So the contractors that we had on board are initially scheduled to work through May, with the ability for us to extend that, if we need to extend that. So just want to assure you that all of our guys are working. We say 6 days, 10 hours, but as you know, we also worked last Sunday. Why? Because it required that. So we're scheduling 6 days, 10 hours, but we're going to work whatever shifts we need to work to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to get people, to work and home safely.
Great, thank you. That's good news. I mean, that'll be a lot of people on the road, and I'm glad you're targeting some of these places that got hit a little worse than others. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Steve.
Just like Almika said, our crew has been working very hard in patching some of these roadways and with some of the big holes, which was really not anticipated, but for in the month of February. But in saying that, we also are going to experience another snowfall here tomorrow, possibly another 1 to 3 inches. So we have to gear up for that as well.
Okay, I have a question. So I know the 1888 number is big. I've been urging my constituents on Facebook and emails to call that when they see anything. So will those take precedence, those calls, or are the trucks going to just be going down roads in each district and filling as they see it? How does this work?
So, yeah, Bill, I was going to say you can answer that one. I know we discussed that recently.
Yeah, so Madam Chair, one of the things that we're doing, excuse me, also is we're putting together some smaller patch crews that we're calling roving crews. What they're going to do is handle those emergency calls. As you know, we'll have a regular patch crew. They may be working a 2 or 3 mile stretch. What typically happens when we have emergencies, oftentimes we pull them off of those roads to go and handle those emergencies. But what we're doing now is we're putting together some smalling, what we're calling rover crews to handle the east and the west side. So when we get those emergency calls, we don't have to pull the big crews. We can send those smaller crews out to hit those 1 or 2 potholes that may be creating those problems in those areas.
Okay. All right. Commissioners, okay, we have, let's go, Sam, why don't you start?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Bill, Mrs. Steele, and Steve for the update. First, let me start off by commending and applauding our road crews in Wayne County. I believe they're doing a fairly good job considering the resources that we have. I understand that we are short-staffed, and I'm glad to hear that we're going to have 3 more contractors who will be assisting. Before I ask this question, I also would like to mention this, Steve. You and I have talked about this. There are several roads in Wayne County that are beyond any repair. It's like throwing the money away by putting the asphalt in these potholes. For example, the Miller Road in Dearborn, Oakman Boulevard in Dearborn between Ford Road and Michigan Avenue, they're beyond being repairable, if you will. Is there anything, Bill, that could be done under the heavy maintenance program like we did one time on Outer Drive north of Michigan Avenue? Because the minute you put these, the amount of asphalt in these potholes, not even 2-3 hours later, it's gone with the traffic. And now we have more snow tomorrow. I know this is a difficult situation, and I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. And I got this other crazy idea, and I really mean it. I have a group of volunteers that reach out to me, and they want to come out and assist the crews on the roads in Dearborn if they need assistance. And I said, I don't know about that. There's some liability issues with that, but I'm one of those volunteers who would be willing to go out on the street and help the crews in Wayne County to try to offer relief for our residents, if you will. And the other one question that I have, you mentioned, Bill, that with these contractors, you will have 10 more crews on a given day. Does that mean 10 individuals? How much does a crew consist of? Several people, or what do you consider a crew?
Yes, sir. A crew is generally 4 to 6 people working. So
Okay.
we'll have 10 additional complete crews with 4 to 6 people on those crews that will be assigned areas. The other thing is, going back to what you mentioned earlier, from the direction of Director Watts, there was we're already working with engineering, identifying some of those worst areas where we patch it on Wednesday, we have to go back on Friday, looking at what we can do to get us through this winter. The area that you mentioned on Miller Road, that's a concrete area. We've already talked about expanding our concrete patching contract, looking to see if we could get him to start earlier, going in some of those areas like that where the cold patch is not holding, because the areas around it that we're patching is deteriorating. So the patch is just popping back out, looking to see how soon we can start with some concrete patches that will buy us 5 to 10 years, while we're working on putting projects together to rebuild those road sections.
Bill, while we're talking about Miller Road, it's scheduled to start repaving this year, correct?
I'd have to reach out to Animesh. I am not sure what that schedule is, but we're looking in areas, and it may not be Miller Road. Just use that because you brought it up, because it's a concrete road. Looking at some of those roads like Middle Belt, Middle Belt near Wick, that's a concrete road. It's not scheduled to be rebuilt in the next year or two, but what can we do as far as concrete patches, to put that road back in some kind of shape that will buy us the 2 or 3 years we need until we can go in and do a reconstruct.
Okay, thank you.
And if I could just, Commissioner, if I could respond to I know you mentioned about an inquiry on volunteers, and thank you for that. That question had come up before, and I believe that Corp Counsel is looking into that a little further, but you are correct. The initial feedback from Corp Counsel is that there would be a liability issue for that, under the circumstances. So, but we definitely appreciate and And we definitely are desirous to do as much as we can, as quickly as we can, but obviously we want to make sure it's done safely and, the county doesn't have, a liability or exposure issue.
Of course.
Madam Chair, can I just add one more thing? please?
Sure.
So I really
Sure.
want to take the time to thank you, Commissioner Baydoun, for buying pizzas to the troops over the weekend.
Mhm.
Really thank you for his efforts, and the troops are very, very thankful. Thank you for that, Commissioner Baydoun. I just
Steve,
wanted-
this is the least,
I
this is the least we can do to thank them for their hard work. This is the least we can do.
Yeah, that was very nice, Commissioner. And they are working hard. Oh, this weather just keeps happening. Commissioner Dodd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do apologize for not having my camera on. I am not presentable right now. I had to go to the ER this morning because I slipped on the ice. But I don't have any fractures, so it's all good. So I just have a couple questions. The Wayne County, the app that we used to have, I think it was called C-Click Fix. Is that still up and running for people to report potholes?
My understanding is that it is, and I see that Shawnee is on, and I believe, Shawnee, that information, does that get reported through the call center?
Yes, thank you for the question. Yes, C-Click Fix is still up and running, and customers, constituents can call or use their app to report potholes and any other road issues there may be.
Okay, great. We used to use it, and then I think it was down for a while, and then when it came back up, I just stopped using it. So I just want to make sure. The potholes, if they're on like a state road or on 275, the highways, should constituents report those to the road crew as well? And does Wayne County go out and fix those?
Commissioner Dodd, as you know, we're under contract with the state to maintain those roads, in the Wayne County area, those freeways that run through. So yes, the state roads, the telegraphs, the Michigan avenues, the Ford roads, all of the freeways, we maintain them for the state. So yes, you would contact us to go out and patch those roads.
Okay, great. Just have two more questions. So there's hot patch and cold patch. I know that I've been told the difference, but can you just refresh my memory? Do we use cold patch right now because it's colder temperatures, and then we use hot patch in the summer, or what is the difference?
Well, the big difference is, hot patch is actually asphalt, and we just using the same material that we would use to pave a road to patch potholes. So it's a different mix. It's made different. It has a little more tar in it, so it holds up better. Cold patch is a derivative of that we use in the wintertime just to patch potholes. So hot patch works at a certain degrees. I mean, we generally put it on the road at 300 degrees. Cold patch is something that doesn't need that heat for it to actually have that bonding effect.
Okay, and then when you're sorry, and I get a lot of complaints, and I'm sure you guys do too, about how the potholes are fixed. Like, oh, they just throw the material on there, they don't stamp it down or anything. But that is the procedure that everyone uses, correct?
Yeah, and so I've always thought about it like this. What we do tell guys, tamp it down with the shovel, run over with the truck tires, when you can. So we do want to have some kind of compaction, but what we get a lot is, why aren't you using this fix that will last, a year opposed to a week? And the problem is, during the course of a year, we're going to patch, 200,000 to 300,000 potholes. So, you think about it, if you were going to work in the morning and the road that you traveled to work on had 200 potholes on it, if we use some of those products that were out there, it would take us 2 to 4 hours to do a hole. So when you came home from work after your 8-hour shift, 195 of those holes would still be there. The process that we're using, it doesn't last as long, but it does give us the ability to patch all 200 of those holes while you're at work. So when you ride back home, at least they've all been addressed.
Right, okay. So I have one more question, but I see our commission counsel put a question in the chat, and who should be contacted to remove large items such as a mattress or couch from the freeway? That would be road crew, right?
Correct.
Okay, so call the 188 road crew number. One final question, the contractors that we're using for the pothole program, are they union workers?
I don't know. I do know 2 of them are contractors that we have already been using. One is Cadillac Asphalt, one is Florence Cement, contractors that we've been using for years. So not sure what the process is, but I would assume they've been vetted and approved.
Okay. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Thank you.
can I just say
Yeah,
something real quick?
Sure.
Andrew
Go ahead.
Kandrivas. Just need to testify real quick. I know everybody thinks that there's always a quick way and a back doorway to get something done, but I am here to tell you that even when I saw a sofa sitting in the middle of I-75 and North Line Road, perhaps even when I was in DPS, I called 888 Road Crew, called that number, and that sofa was removed very quickly after. It's the best way of getting that stuff done. So I just wanted to share that with everybody.
No, and I appreciate that. And I've called them a couple times in the last couple days, and it's a very professional group that answers. You talk to someone live. They take it. They put the information right into the computer. They give you a work number and ask for your phone number. So it's a great way to do it. And I put this in my newsletter every season, and I keep trying to push that, because even when commissioners have something to take care of, they call that number. So it's good for everyone. All right, thank you. Any other commissioners? I see a couple people on the participants with their hands up, but we don't do that at this point. If you can wait until public comments. This is just for commissioners to ask questions at this time. So any other commissioners that want to make a comment or ask a question? I do have one question, Bill or Steve or Elmika. When we're doing the patching of the potholes, last week was so cold at some point. Does that affect the patching of those? Like if you put something in a pothole and then it drops to 0, does that do anything with that?
No.
Okay.
No, the material we're using is built for cold weather use.
Okay. So, but would rain affect that if like it starts pouring after you've done it? Does it wash it right out?
Rain does not wash it out. What generally happens is it's experiencing the same thing that the roads are experiencing, the frost and thaw. Anytime precipitation gets between it and the road, and then that freezes up, that's what generally pushes it out.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Anyone else before we go to the next? Thank you.
Yes, I have my hand
Yeah.
up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For a
I'm
long
sorry,
time.
Commissioner. Are you
Yeah.
iPad? You're iPad. You know what? I thought that was someone from the public. I didn't know that was you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I am from the public too. So
Yeah.
I'm from both. So, I've been listening really, and everybody bring a very good point, and we all agree the Department of the Public Service doing the best they can with what they have. And I look the issue, been driving on the road for the last couple of days, and I realized there's some road in some area we could patch them, but it's for very short time, temporary. We need to focus more on how can we find a budget to have a permanent fix for some area where it's heavy traffic road. Some of those roads not scheduled to be done till 20, 25, 26, 27, and those roads can't wait with patching. So we need to, between the administration and the commission, we need to see if we could dedicate more funding to have a permanent fix for those roads instead of putting good money after bad problem that you
I'm looking at the long term, and I know exactly what's gonna happen.
Commissioner,
Somebody gonna come along and
Commissioner
say,
Kinloch.
okay, you got all the
Commissioner
licenses.
Commissioner, okay, thank you. Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, so I want us to focus too on permanent solution, especially in Wayne County, where probably we have heaviest traffic than other county because we have the major airport to serve the region, especially on Merriman Road. There's some area it's beyond repair. So I hope this message would go for the commission and the administration to get together to see how we could find more funding and spend some more money to have a permanent solution for those roads. Another question I have is their supervisor follow up those patching crew sometime to see if they doing the proper thing. I have one experience. They was patching some pothole and they missing quite a few potholes, especially an intersection where you make a right turn or left turn. There's some missing, filling up those potholes. I don't know if we have a supervisor follow the crew after a while to see how the job done or not.
Someone, Bill, Steve?
Yeah, typically the patch crews have a foreman with them. Sometimes there's not enough foremen to go out with the patch crew, so sometimes they won't have a foreman with them. Something else that you may see too is we may have a road that has 10 massive potholes that are causing flat tires. Often what the crew will do is they'll patch those 10 holes that are causing the flat tires and then go back and start from the beginning getting everything. So there are times where they will pass by some of the smaller holes that are potholes, but won't necessarily cause significant damage to get the bigger ones and then go back and start over to get everything. So, sometime that happens also. So I'm not saying that's what happened then, but that's just, one of the process that we use is to try to, make sure that we're doing the best we can do to eliminate the greater hazards in an area.
Well, then don't you think if they patch those big pothole, the one caused the flat tire and patch the other one in the same time instead of go and come back? Don't you think there's some waste of time in that area? I'm not expert, but I just try to see by common sense. I know it's a problem we're doing the best we can, but I hope, like I mentioned, I'm a great supporter of go to the painful solution, which is put more money and to have a permanent fix for some of the road to cut big section and repave it or cement it, wherever. We need to look into those areas. Otherwise, we put in a lot of money we could save if we go to the good solution at one time. It's my opinion. So,
and Commissioner, every process that we have in place, we need to continue to revisit. To see if there's adjustments that we need to make, we'll make those adjustments, and that's something that we'll definitely revisit.
Thank you.
Thank you. And add to Commissioner Hadis's suggestions, we need to get not only the administration and the commission, but we need to get the legislature and the governor's office to start spending some of that money that they've gotten. There's $20 billion at the state sitting there, and this is, fix the damn roads was the last 4 years. So We need everybody to get together with this for Wayne County. Any other commissioners? Let me make sure the hands. Okay.
Chair,
All right.
Madam Chair, I have another quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a question for Bill or Steve. Are you seeing that this year in 2020, we have obviously less people working in the DPS department in comparison to prior years? What's the percentage that we lost in terms of employees? And is obviously this is due to the pandemic. And what are we trying to do to recruit qualified candidates for the road crew division for the DPS?
Commissioner, I actually may be able to help with answering that one and maybe have Bill and Steve supplement, because this is, you probably have heard Director Watts talk about this before. In DPS, yes, there are vacancies in the roads division. Including PSMWs who would be working in roads division. And we are, positions are rec. There's a requisition process through our personnel department. They're posted. We've had job fairs, including virtual job fairs, again, to recruit. And, they're definitely, we're doing what we can under the circumstances. We've had discussions and suggestions with personnel on other ways that we think we may be able to recruit, but it's not just, our agency. We've talked to our counterparts in other counties. They're also experiencing vacancies. And quite frankly, it's, we're all kind of competing for a certain workforce. In addition, not only on the government side, but now you have, private entities that have, very high starting salaries. I mean, someone told me recently that they just traveled to Traverse City and a McDonald's there starting at $21 an hour for a McDonald's. So, I mean, when you think about, how many commercials do you see for Amazon or other entities that are hiring, and then they say, oh, we're going to give you a $5,000 or $10,000 starting bonus. So these are some of the things that, to the challenges that we're working through. We're definitely doing what we can to recruit, but we have to recognize that it's not just our agency. We've got a lot of vacancies, across the industry.
Yeah, I mean, that's a challenge. It's a dilemma.
And Elmika, it's my understanding, like we're contracting for the pothole work, but we can't contract for the snowplow work. Is that correct?
And I just to clarify, it doesn't mean we're contracting everything out. I want to.
No.
Yeah. Our existing staff, as we mentioned, they are doing everything that they can, and we know the hours that they're putting in. So we've are looking at where we can supplement, for that additional assistance with the potholes. Again, as Steve mentioned, we got snow coming. Crews will be working and handling snow removal, with our staff. And again, we are also pulling not only staff within roads division, but we have some parks division staff as well that are helping to supplement.
No, I guess my question was, like if we're down, I heard we're down 61 drivers for the snow plowing, but it's not possible to contract snow plowing because most places don't have the plows that we need to do that. Is that correct?
So I won't say that it's not at all possible to contract out, but I think there are some considerations, and maybe Bill or Steve may have a little bit more expertise, but as I understand it and as I recall, first off, there are only so many that would do this type of work. And then, of course, you're sort of competing with whatever, if they have a number of other entities or agencies, you may lose some of that control in terms of priority. So you obviously want to be able to get the snow plowed, but do you want to be, so far down the line? There could be some advantages, but there could also be some disadvantages. But Bill or Steve, I don't know if either one of you wants to add in on some information, on that.
Well, Commissioner, we did reach out this year and in prior years to see if we could bring people in to help with the snow plowing, or if we could hire employees to come in and drive some of the trucks that we have. We reached out to retirees. So we tried to put a process in place to see if we could get at least some temporary help through the winter to help with this. And we actually, no one put in an application. No one was interested. So, and I think you're pretty much correct when we talk about snow plowing itself. There's very few entities that have the equipment, and the entities that have the equipment, they don't have much equipment because of the cost of the equipment. And those entities are basically already been contracted out.
Yeah.
So we couldn't find anybody that was interested in working with us as far as snow and ice. And I think that the big deal for us is getting the help with the cold patch, is because we're looking at companies that are generally busy in the summertime and they're not doing anything in the winter. And we're just giving them an opportunity to tap into some work that would normally be available. So they're ready.
Okay, thank you for that.
To that point, Madam
Yes,
Chair,
go ahead.
Bill, with everything that's going on right now, and I know we're short-staffed and we're busy filling potholes, obviously, because we have too many of them. Will this affect the road projects that are scheduled to start this year, whether in the spring or in the summer? Is that going to push back some of these projects?
No, at this time, we do not have any plan changes on when a project would start. So that the construction schedule is set currently for this particular construction season. Obviously, if something on an urgent matter comes up and we have to make modifications, we always obviously try to remain flexible. But as of now, engineering division has a schedule set for the construction season.
Okay. Again, I want to thank all of you and thank all your DPS crews for doing everything they can, considering the resources that we have. Thank you. I really appreciate all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more? And I just want to note, Commissioner Palomero has been on for several minutes, so I just want to do that for the record, even before our discussion started, I believe. So,
Listen to the discussion about the shortage of labor, and we all agree is the market outside the local government pay rate, it's way better. As you see, the inflation start to show, everything going up, all the prices and everything going up. I think it's time for the county to evaluate our pay rate and benefit to the employee, to be able to have a quality work team and try to at least compete with the market, because our job to provide vital services is very important for the people to travel on a safe road. It's very important to have the local government provide them with the vital services. I appreciate the debate on how we patch in the road, or the cold patch, all those things. It's good, very good. We need to address those things. But in my opinion, the permanent solution to our workforce to be able to have, because the question Mr. Commissioner Baidoun asked, is that any effect on a future project? Probably now not, but if we keep losing some employee, it will affect us. I think it's time for us to debate those issues, evaluate our pay rate and benefit for the people, to see benefit for them to come and work for us, to be able to provide those services.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I completely understand how we're shorthanded, how we absolutely need to invest money in rebuilding the roads now. There's no question about that. The time for blaming who's at fault, how come we haven't done it, is over. My question is this: does it just seem that way, or are there actually more potholes and worse potholes this year than ever? Or does it just seem that way? It's just everywhere I go, the roads are just like, you got to be careful. Are they worse than ever this year, or what's up? Is there any way to measure that?
So I guess I will have to maybe defer that question to Bill and Steve. I don't know if there is a way to exactly quantify severity. I mean, I'm one to talk about weather extremes, and we all know, even within the last year, how, you know, weather extremes, we can see the changes, and I think freeze-thaw cycles is not exempt from that. But Bill or Steve, any way that, and I don't know if there is a way to even kind of measure severity for the potholes this season.
So like you said earlier, Almika, you know, due to the change in temperature fluctuating for freezing cold to single digits to 40 degrees, and of course, the amount of moisture and amount of rain all plays a big role. But in February, you will see an uptick in the number of potholes that are existing. And some of them can be really deep, 6 inches, maybe even 12 in most areas. So as was indicated earlier, that we are going to address those tire busters first. And as we take care of other responsibilities they have, such as snow and ice. But yes, to answer your question, Commissioner, yes, there is an uptick of potholes just because of the temperature fluctuating. And I've never seen this here, especially in the month of February, with the number of potholes that are just coming up.
Everywhere. Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Commissioner Palomero, if I could just add this, 2 things. One is, in my 37 years, this is the worst I've seen it. And if the weather fluctuations continue as they are, I'll be saying next month that it's the worst I've seen it. You know, so that's a fact. The other thing, when you talk about how to measure, one of the things that we do is we quantify how many tons of asphalt that we put that we use each year on the road. We go back at the end of the year, we take those numbers, and we have an engineering formula that we use with those numbers that will give us an approximate of how many potholes we patched. You know, so we can look at that information and compare it to years past and see if we use more material, and that's just an indicator under normal circumstances. But like Steve says, you know, the formula don't work when you got a 3x4, you know, pothole, you know, but based on the normal size potholes that our engineers have come up with, we do have a way of quantifying from year to year an estimate of how many potholes we patched.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else before we move on? See if I'm missing anyone. Well, thank you, DPS crew, for coming on today. This is very helpful. We can share this information with our citizens and hope for the best. But thank you for all the work you do, and thank the crew for us as well, like Commissioner Baydoun said. Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
We're moving to item G, public comments.
All right. Could you unmute everyone?
Everyone has to unmute.
Thank you. And Madam Clerk, can you help me out with this? I see, okay, public comments will be 2 minutes, and we do not respond back to you. We just listen to you. So we will start with Chris Johnson, Community Liaison.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I guess with my questions, if whoever is responsible for this, maybe they can give me a call back. I just had 2 questions. One was regarding, I know the county used to plow West McNichols, where Marygrove College is at. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
And but I noticed this last since Marygrove is not there anymore, is the county still responsible for that road because it did not get plowed with this last snowfall? And my second question for whoever's concerned, whoever this is responsible, on Otter Drive, I've had some constituents contact regarding, I know they mow the grass and they're asking who does the cleanup there because a lot of things have been left there for cleanup. And then the community has a question about when they do cut the grass, there's a border sign there that's getting damaged around the base if they just had brand new border signs put up. So if someone can give me a call, you can reach me at, of course, at the commissioner's phone number, leave a message, or they can reach me directly.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else from the public that would like to address the Committee on Public Services? Either on the phone or iPad or computer? Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any emails?
We did not receive any emails.
Okay. All right, one more call. Anyone from the public? All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item.
We're moving to item H, adjournment.
Okay,
Move to adjourn.
all right. Do we
Support.
have a, okay, we have support. Okay, we are now adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gagmeet. Appreciate it.
See you over at Ways and Means.
Okay, bye.
Bye now.